Welcome to the latest Street Badass live stream. We have a very exciting live stream this evening. We have special guest Omar Brest coming at us from Buenos Aires. Co-host this evening is going to be Sarah Simon, and we'll see if we can find Sarah, see if we can find Omar. Omar, we're going to get you on just a second. Hey, what's going on, Sarah? What do you say?
Hey Todd, how are
Not too
you?
bad. I had like the weirdest day today. I was walking around and like dogs were barking at me
You look
and
great.
cats were kind of hissing at me. Had people calling me Tarzan, and I don't know what's going on.
I love it. I love it. You should wear that every time you do street photography. You could be
It
like Bill Cunningham, but that's like your thing, you know?
what
It would
what
be
what does
it would
Bill
be so
Cunningham
appropriate.
do? What does he do? Does
What's that?
he
Oh,
wears a
it was like a blue denim kind of jacket every time he went out doing street photography.
on a serious note, I did consider at one point just wearing like a black suit the entire time, kind of like
Yeah.
Men in Black. But I thought that might be hard to pull off in the Florida sun.
I think the people who do the vests, like the fishing vests, are actually onto something. Because like that makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
if you
because
had all the pockets.
absolutely. And plus, if you get sick of shooting, you can just go fishing.
That too. Yeah.
Because
It's a different kind of
it,
thing.
it's a different kind of fishing. So how's everything going over there in Connecticut?
All right. I'm sick again. Haven't
I'm
been out
sorry to
shooting in a
hear
while.
that.
Just been sick over and over and over again.
I think
But
it's the winters. You guys get really hardcore winters there in Connecticut. Did you guys have a lot of snow and everything like that, or is it pretty mellow?
that's pretty mellow. But this too shall pass. I'm ready to shoot next year. 2025 is my year.
I think the case says,
I
thank you
see it.
for both for mentioning the elephant or leopard in the room right off the get-go. Um, this may be a new look for me, Case, so we'll see what happens. Um, I was going to say something about, today. We went out today and we're down in the south and it was like almost summer today. It wasn't quite summer, but like you didn't have to wear a coat or anything and it was just beautiful sunny weather down here.
Where are you? You're in France right
Yeah,
now?
yeah. But we're very near the border of Spain. So it it was just beautiful, man. We just had like the luckiest weather. We never get, that great of weather because it's almost January, obviously. But we went out today. I had like my winter coat on with a vest, the whole shot, everything. And then we got out and I'm just like, man, we're walking around without even a coat on. It was great.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, I was lucky. Hey, so I do have to say congratulations to Sonia Newell Smith. We had let me see if I can get into my tablet here. We had a contest last week, and the winner was Sonia, and she won with this photo right here. Let me see if I can get this up so everybody can see. It's actually quite an amazing photo. Probably better if I just hold it. It's easier like that.
There you go. You got it.
So what I love about this photo, and congratulations to Sonia. This was the contest over at the Street Badass Street Photography Facebook group, and the theme was London Town. And what I find so hilarious about this is it almost looks like he's pulled the head off that mannequin right next to him,
Hmm.
and then he's on the phone, like maybe like reporting it or something. But anyway, it's a really funny picture, man. I love that picture. But congratulations to Sonia for that one. I think there's something funny every time that you see. Let me turn this back around. I think there's something hilarious about like those mannequin heads. Because every time I've seen one of those, I've always wanted to take a picture of it. I guess it's one of those things that's like a trigger.
Yeah. No, I used to hate mannequin street photos, and I've turned around. I really like them now. There's a lot of good ones out there.
That's interesting that you hated them at first and now it turns around. Anything else that you can think of that you didn't like at first and then you turned it around?
Oh yeah, I go through phases of hating everything. It happens all the time, I think.
I used to, you know, my one thing was, and I kind of stepped back from I used to really hate seeing people with cell phones in their hands. But then I was like, man, if I do not take pictures of people's cell phones in their hand, I might not ever get a picture of somebody because everybody's always got that cell
Yeah,
phone. It's
it's just
almost
like
like
the
that.
newspaper and the older pictures. It's part of life, you know.
Although I think with the newspaper, you can actually see a little bit of what's going on, because it might say, like, you know,
So much of our life is affected by being on media now, and us all being addicted to it. Like, I think that street photography should have it. Should have everyone looking at their phones,
that's a good
because like,
point. I think that
because that.
we'll have to ask Omar about
All
that too, because I
right,
wonder what
let's do
his
it.
take is on that. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can find Omar real quick. All right, Omar, I'm inviting you in, buddy. Omar is coming to us direct from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Uh-oh. Oh, it says that Omar declined. Omar, don't decline,
Maybe
accept.
it was your shirt, Todd.
He doesn't want to talk to a guy with this shirt on, man. I don't blame him. There he is.
Hey guys,
Omar, what
Hey.
do you say?
how are you?
Hey, I just want to know if you're drinking mate.
Yeah, I am. I am drinking mate right now.
Well, cheers to your. I'm drinking tea, so I guess that's
And
almost
cheers.
mate.
It's so nice
Yeah.
to meet you, Omar.
Hey Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm glad.
Todd,
Glad to
I
hear.
have to tell you, I've been a huge fan of Omar's work for like ever since, I don't know, whenever I first followed him. I love his work. It resonates. It takes me to a place that I understand the feeling, or maybe I'm projecting something onto you that I think I understand, but I'm so excited to hear you talk about it because I want to see if what you're doing with it is what I think you're doing with it. But like, I
Okay.
love what you're doing with your work. I'm a
Yeah,
big
it's,
fan.
it's the same feeling. The same feeling for me. I see your pictures and I kind of see myself on them. I don't
Right?
know. It's like
Yeah.
we might be in the same place
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, that same like corner of the void we're catching and
Exactly.
bringing through. I think
Exactly.
so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that actually says a lot about your work, because if your work speaks to somebody, I kind of feel like if your work speaks to even just one person like that, you've already kind of done it.
Right?
You know what I mean?
That's all you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's,
you need to reach just one people, and it make it worth it.
but you know, and the thing is, if you only reach one person, if you get two, then you've actually doubled your efforts.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a lot of work
That's right.
to
To
to do
double your
it. Yeah.
efforts.
Hmm.
Hey, so Omar, I wanted to ask you, I typically ask everybody when we first start out, tell us about the first time that you had a camera in your hand. How long ago was that? Was it love at first sight? What was the experience,
Um,
or what was the situation? Because that's always kind of interesting, because some people take right off and some people get a camera, look at it, and then they walk away and then they don't do anything with it for a while. What was it like
well,
for you?
but the first time I got my hands on a camera was like when I was a kid. I used to play with a camera that my grandmother had. Um, I I used to steal from her, just start walking around and playing that I was just taking pictures. Of course, it didn't have any film on it. I was just doing this exercise of playing, taking pictures. But later, when I was around 19, I bought a camera. It was a really, really shitty camera. I wanted to get back to that moment on my childhood and see what happens. Well, it took me here right now. I haven't stopped taking pictures since then. Um, Not street photography is just one side of it, but I've been taking pictures of anything uh, since I'm 19, and I have that camera.
Yeah, I want to see that camera. Is this your?
This is the camera I played when I was a kid.
No way.
I have it here. Yeah, I kept it.
That's very.
Mhm.
Does it?
I keep it in my library.
That's
And
a
now,
nice looking camera, actually.
and now that's led you to shoot with a GR, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I moved on from that. When I discovered the GRs, oh, that changed it. Changed everything for me because I used to have I have a Sony reflex camera, and it was too heavy to take out, and I didn't want to do that because well, it takes a lot of no, it makes you brighter on the streets. I don't know how to say it otherwise. And with the record, you're just a random guy walking and minding my business. So yeah, right now I only shoot with record. I don't shoot with anything else. And I got a new one from Todd. Thank you so much.
I made a special delivery for Omar.
Oh,
Is it? I think it's not available in Argentina at this point, right?
No, Rico doesn't don't sell cameras here. They,
So
they only
I'll,
sell
I'll talk
printers.
to.
only printers, right? That's funny.
Yeah, only printers.
So you have one for your first from your grandma and your last from Todd. That's special.
Hmm.
Hey, so when you were shooting, it's interesting that you were going around and shooting without anything in the camera. Do you ever do you think that psychologically or like subconsciously that you're maybe searching for those shots in a way when you're out shooting in Buenos Aires these days? Or do you think that
It,
you relive any of those shots that you were trying to shoot when you run around with a camera?
it's hard to tell. I would like to think that way, but I don't think so. Um, when I started shooting on the streets recently, it was to try to find something new on my life because I was just so much lost. I had lost a lot, and I was kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I started walking the streets with a camera to find me again, to find myself. Um, and I hadn't really stopped to think uh, why I used to walk when I was a kid. That thought hasn't really came yet because there was two different sides of the story. When I was a kid, I used to live in a dangerous place. My family was kind of broken. I needed a reason to get out of my home, and I found this play with the camera to be like a perfect thing to not be not being at home somehow. Um, and I don't even remember what I was walking or what I was doing. I just have this memory of me just walking around with a camera. But when I became a street photographer, I needed to find a reason or something to live. I don't know how to say it otherwise. But no, no. Answering your questions, no. I think it's two different sides of a coin.
That makes sense. I think sometimes with street photography, I know for me, and I think that maybe like this for you guys, um, I'm going out a lot of times and I find if I do like kind of I'm hyper focusing on the photography, then there's a great element of stress relief that kicks in, and so it's
Mhm.
kind of like I reset after shooting for a few hours or even an hour, even 15 minutes sometimes. Is it like that for you guys as well?
You want to answer, Sarah, first?
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. It's such therapy. And it's like what you were saying, Omar, like you do go and find yourself. You're not looking for yourself, but you're going out and you're shooting, and every shot you're taking, you're just saying like the deeper you go, the closer you're connecting to some higher thing that's going through you, and you're like, oh, this is what God saw through me today. And the shots that you're taking are get deeper and deeper into who you are and what you're connected to, I think. And you're taking shots that are just like, I exist. This is what I saw. And that's kind of what you're doing. And the more you do that, the less you leave your stresses. I mean, the more you leave your stresses and the other crap, I think. And you find yourself, I don't know. It's a cool process. I think that
Yeah, it is a
I
whole
think
process.
there's different kinds of street photography where you're going out and you're being very focused on what you're doing and you're very conceptual versus snapshot street photography, which is what all three of us do, I think, which is very much you're walking and shooting, and it is very intuitive, and I think that's a different process.
Yeah, for me, I just grab my headphones and my camera and just start walking. Maybe I just have something on my head that I cannot process, so I just start walking, walking, and walking, and walking, and I come back home when I finally find that thought it's just gone, and then my head is lighter. And in the process, I'm taking pictures. I don't have a specific target of pictures that I want that I take. I just shoot whatever I see, the way I see it, and it's kind of super related to the state of mind that I have when I walk. Uh, but yeah, it's for me. It's a good stress release. Yeah, it's like a therapy or something like that.
So when you're shooting and you get a shot that you might call a keeper, or a shot that works for you, do you have the sense right at that moment when you take that shot that that's the one, or is that something that you develop back home?
Um, Not really. I don't really pay attention to the pictures in the moment. I should shoot. I don't even look at to the um, technical aspect of the picture. Most of the times I don't even know what the aperture I'm shooting with. I just go and walk and take the picture. When I come home from a walk or something, I just download them, start seeing, and something that it's I think it's key for me is that the pictures that I think that are keepers are actually the worst of them. The worst. I mean, they are so super abstract. I mean, they're badly shoot. If you saw the raw file, you see nothing, But in this process of trying to rescue something from the darkness, I always catch something there in that badly shot picture. Um, for me, it's more like it's intuitive, and I don't pay attention to details. Just depend on a lot on the shot, but in the 99% of the pictures that I take, I don't I don't even pay attention. Um, and and I think the key part of my process is that trying to rescue something beautiful out of a broken thing. I don't know.
What you just said there, that's what I get out of your work. That's why I love it so much. To to go into the messiness and the darkness and the madness and rescue the beauty of it. That's I mean that's art. That's wonderful. That's what you do. And the technical stuff you're doing is what gets you there. I think it's perfect.
I
Thank
like
you.
what Running Dog 5000 said. Running Dog 5000 made a statement. The world is not ready for the keepers. I'm with you.
That was great.
You know,
What?
a lot of your shots that are my favorite are not even of people. A lot of like your landscape shots, your buildings, like you'll do sky or plants are some of my favorites of yours. There's like they're so simple, but there's so much to them. Do you
Yeah,
do you find that you like stop in front of those kinds of scenes and shoot that more than people, or just whatever?
no, I don't usually look at people when I'm walking the streets. I walk with Todd a lot, and he can testify that I don't I don't pay attention to them. When I add people to a picture, it's because there is something right in that particular place, uh, and lighting or whatever. But most of the times, I actually don't pay attention to them. I am what I really love about the city is the things that people ignore, and they are really beautiful, and they are there on the walls or on the sidewalk. I don't know. People just ignore them, and I think it's really beautiful. But people, there are too many other photographers that focus on people, so I just leave that part of the work to them. I just don't really care about people on the pictures.
Let's take a look at one of your photos here, Omar. So what can you tell us about this one? Because I think that this was the second one that I put in the feature that we did today for you. And
Mhm.
this one almost has like a dreamlike quality to me. And there are people, but the people, it's not about the identity of the people. It's almost like the people is like the collective person on the street with all the lighting. And this one just really struck me. And it's a very beautiful photo, I guess, taken at night.
Yeah. Well, that is what I shoot when I'm depressed. I feel like in a world of shadows, where I don't even have an identity. So yeah, technically speaking, I use the people or the shadows or the shape of the people to construct this dream world, or try to reflect what I feel in that particular moment when I feel like I'm a ghost or something, walking around. When I feel like that, I start walking at night, and try to find interesting lights, and w- I'm just like a moth, I'm just flying around lights and trying to capture something that reflects what I feel. I think this picture that you're showing is a good example of that. But these are pictures that I take when I am really, really depressed, which is often. But yeah, you see that the way I use the people. I don't care about them. It's just I just use them as a um, composition item.
But I
I
think,
think that
go ahead, Sarah.
I was gonna say I shoot the same way. How I shoot depends on my mood, and it's an expression of whatever I'm feeling and how I see it. Um, I don't know. Would you say that like you're the subject? Because I've thought about this myself. I guess I mean sometimes I'm like the city is the subject. It's not definitely not the people. It's definitely not the scene. I guess sometimes I feel like it's me. Right? Is that
Mhm.
how you feel?
Exactly. Yeah, that is how I feel. I try to be in a position where I show you my point of view, but the picture might be, of course, of something else. It's not a self-portrait, but it's a portrait of the way I feel in that moment, or at least I try to do that. I don't know if I make it or not, but I try. I definitely try.
No, I think you do, Omar, and I think that there is like a sense. I don't find this like a very depressing photo, although there is a sense of melancholy to it. But I see this as the different shadows, or maybe the different stations in life that you go through. But then it's also kind of, it contains like possibilities, because you're in a city and any way you turn, there there are different possibilities and different outcomes or possible outcomes. I thought this is a pretty profound picture. I like this picture a lot.
Thank you.
Have you always shot black and white only?
No, no, not really. I always liked black and white, but when I started shooting, I used to shoot a lot of flowers and bees. Um, I don't know, beautiful things. They were always in color. Um, but well, uh, then life happened, and I kind of lost the colors in my life somehow, and I started shooting black and white. Um, then with years of therapy on me, I realized that I am mostly black and white guy. You know, there is little gray on me. I am a kind of an extremist. Uh, not not much, but I prefer that. I prefer it that way. You know, and I think I've come to a place where I can just express myself really good with just black and white, and I don't need the colors anymore. When I try to shoot colors, I doesn't feel the same way. It's different. It's strange. I'll show you pictures and you can color someday, and you will see what I mean. It's not me, or it's me, but it's another dimension Omar. You know, it's
Yeah,
not this one.
yeah.
Well, we have Medicine Mare. Omar does color beautifully, so you do have some fans of your color photography, in case you
Well,
ever want to do it again.
uh, someday I don't know.
And
Right now, I don't think
and
so.
and I'm probably going to murder this name, JJ Jeje Sualdo. You can really feel the solitude and darkness from inside on a city filled with lights. Beautiful. So that was on that last one there. So that's a great shot. Really like that shot there. And Reiki's saying hello, Sarah,
Hey,
as you can see there.
Shannon.
Is that Shannon? Okay. Shannon's saying hello. Hey, so I was going to ask you, Omar, because you say that you're listening to music, and you and I have spoken about music, and I think to let everybody know who's watching from outside of Argentina, Argentina is a place that still rock and rolls. There's a really huge music scene there, unlike, you know what it's like? It's kind of like back in the States and back in England, back in like the 70s almost, or early 80s. Like everybody's still rocking. There's like a punk scene, there's a rock and roll scene, and everybody like knows. In fact, the Ramones are super popular there still. I mean, after all these years. And then we had some discussions on this. So what are you typically listening to? Are you listening to Pink Floyd?
Um, it also depends on the mood that I have. Um, I like funk a lot. I
Nice.
like I like rock, of course. I love Pink Floyd. I have a tattoo of them on my arm. Uh, but depends on really depends on the mood. I like quiet music when I'm on streets because if I have too much noise on my ears, it's just distracting, you know. Um, if I add more distraction things on my surroundings, I might get hit by a car because I have too much on me because I had a lot of incidents in that regard. But yeah, I'm just hyper focused on what I'm doing, and I forget that I am about to cross an avenue. Uh, I don't see the green light, so I choose quiet music. Um, when that's when I'm shooting, right? But my daily life, yeah, I listen a lot of rock and roll music. I'm not so much a fan of metal music. It's kind of noisy to me. Uh, but I don't know. My favorite band is Porcupine Tree. It's a British band. I listen a lot to
What band was that?
Porcupine Tree. Not nobody
Porcupine
really
Tree.
knows it. Yeah, it's a, I like Radiohead. Radiohead. I listen a lot of Radiohead when I am on the streets.
I think
Um,
Radiohead is the perfect music for our type of photography,
yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
existential music for existential photography. It
Exactly.
works
Yeah.
so well.
It's a match. It's a match. It's yeah. I listen a lot of Radiohead when I'm on the streets. Um, I listen Pink Floyd too. The first albums. But that's about it. You know, I need to listen to music that I heard 1,000 times, so I don't get distracted by. I should use it to isolate myself from this drama.
I think it would be difficult for me to listen to Pink Floyd and shoot. I think
Well,
I would just
What?
be
because
too.
your
It would go.
style is, yeah,
Well,
your
no, but I
style is
think
very
that the
punchy.
Pink Floyd. No, I like Pink Floyd. Don't get me wrong. I don't love Pink Floyd, but I would have to agree with you. I think that it's the like Radiohead. There's like a more modern element to it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But you shoot very differently than me. I mean, you focus more on the interaction with people. So uh, yeah, it's kind of rough for you. Do you listen to music when you're shooting?
I'm very rarely, as I'm. For me, the thrill is talking to the people.
Mm.
It and I like the interactions. I like making friends. I always see like that it's a possible friend, a possible, and if I can make somebody, this will sound goofy, but like if I'm talking to somebody and they take their picture, my goal isn't to piss them off or make them feel shitty. I want to like interact with them and hang out and talk to them. So I think you meet a lot of interesting people on the street, but that's just kind of my thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I try to isolate myself on the street, so it's kind of the better isolated I am, it's the best for me. Um, it's different. It's different for every single photographer. I mean, it's surely it's different for Sarah too.
Yeah, I have a mix. It's called the Moody mix that I listen to when I shoot, and it's a lot of rap. It's a lot of like moody music. It's not anything I listen to other than when I'm shooting. I think when you're shooting, you're embodying a vibration, a type of music. Like Todd, you're not listening to punk, but you're shooting very punk. Like your style, your punchiness, your interactions. Like you're just embodying that type of music. You don't need to be listening to it, right?
No, no, I don't. I used to listen to music a little bit, but then I felt like I was losing the connection with the people on the street. And I think if you're shooting with flash, you need to be available to comment, to interact with somebody because it startles people sometimes. And like I said, I don't want anybody to feel shitty about me taking their pictures. So I'll delete the picture. I'll go talk to them. I'll do whatever. So I can't really listen to music. Plus, to me, it's about getting out into the real world because I do a lot of work online. I've got my face in a computer all day. I'm on the phone a lot. And when I get out into the real world, I want real world like extreme in my face. So I want a dose of real world. Hey, we've got a question here from Impeccable. Great
Olivia.
guest and great conversation. Looking at Omar's images, and I can't help but be reminded a little bit of Daido Moriyama's work. May just be me, but wondering if Omar draws inspirations from others' works.
Well, I have one thing to show. Uh, Probably two. This I have a Daido Moriyama picture tattooed on me. So yeah,
Really?
Let me see that. Let me see that tattoo again.
Yeah, we got to take a better look at that.
That dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got the stray dog. I love it.
yeah, I love Dido, and I have
You called it,
one second.
dude. Impeccably called it.
I also have books from Dido.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I, yes, I love Dido. I take a lot of inspiration from him, but I also try to do my own thing. I have a lot of photographers that I look, um, but in the end, I always try to do my thing because it's super personal what I do or I live. I believe that, and I try to reflect what I feel. We talked about that, um, but it's impossible not to be influenced by other photographers. Uh, and I take the way Dido used contrast, the way I don't know someone else uses shapes and the lining of some shoots. I love I don't know Alan Schaller. Everyone knows him, and my pictures are the opposite of him. I mean, we live in different worlds, but I love what he does, and I try to apply some of the things that he works on my pictures. Yeah, the list of photographers that I like it's amazing. It's incredible. Because I love photography. I just the more people that I know, the more photographers that I know, the more that I take these little tiny things that I love and I try to apply them to my work.
Do you have a favorite photo book that you loved that you always go back to for inspiration?
Yeah, but it's not. It's a book about photography history
Mm.
that has um, from the beginning of the photography until mid uh, until the 50s, I think. And I love just going back there and see what it is when I need to be humbled, in some way.
I get
Because I'll go to the beginning of the last uh, the last century, and I see that somebody has already done whatever thing in photography was there. Everything is already shot. Um, and what I do now, somebody 100 years ago was already doing it. So it gets me humbled again. But saying this, I also know that even though if everything is already done, there is something that is unique about me, you, Sarah, Todd. It's the way that we look at things, the way we capture them. So it doesn't really matter if everything is it's done or not. What it's important is just to keep going, to keep doing, and just trying to find your better version and do your thing, and love it, and that's it. But well, my favorite book is around there. It's just about the history of photography.
I like the fact that your favorite book is the history of photography. That's awesome.
It keeps me humble.
No, but it's good to see super old stuff because you start thinking you're a little bit too big for your boots, and you go, okay, hold on a second. Some guy like when they first invented that was the first picture he took when they first invented the camera.
Well, I was gonna
I,
say when I was looking at your pictures of like landscapes and buildings, it reminded me of the very first street photographer was Eugene Atget, who, the French guy who had like the
Yeah,
old camera at the very beginning, and his were so simple, but yours remind me of that, but it's very much your way of doing it, but it's very much like I saw this was the frame I took of this landscape, and it's like we're all just redoing the same stuff and remixing it with our own soul put into it.
yeah. It's it's really important that we value our work, the value of the street photography, because we're just collecting stuff on the street. You know, we are taking pictures of the people, we are taking pictures of buildings, we are taking pictures of a tile on the sidewalk, or a tree that is there, who knows when. But everything eventually will just go. You know, I'm gonna go someday, I hope. Uh, and it's really important that we share that work, because that way we can just I don't know, be witnesses of the time that we're living, um, like a jet did with Paris. You know, I have a book of him just there. I love a jet. I love the way that he shot. Nobody really cared about him. He was just an old man with a camera, just going and taking pictures of the old Paris. And we now study him like one of the greatest. Um, so yeah, we should need to keep going and doing stuff.
And we have an interesting comment or question here from Kay. In this digital age of photography, we see a lot more photos that aren't so good. But would you agree that we also see a lot more really great photos? That's an interesting question. Thank you, Kay.
Um, I have a question for that. What is a great photo? I don't know. What is a what it's a great photo for me? It might be different for you, different for Sarah, or whoever asked that, because I forgot the name. Uh, but I think it's just math. You know, the more pictures that people take, uh, it's going to be some great pictures also. So it's exponential, I think, and it's that number is not going down. I mean, it's going up and up and up and up. Uh, I celebrate that. We need more photographers. So yeah, if we are more, it's best. And if in that process we get great pictures, that's okay. That's
Yeah,
really
I kind of
good.
Yeah, I personally think that we're kind of in a golden age of photography because of the availability of these digital cameras. Because I'm coming from, I'm in my 50s, man, and I started out with analog cameras, and it was like it was painful to shoot, man, because every time you clicked, it was money, it was everything. So the freedom that we have with these digital cameras and the freedom that we have just to shoot, you can literally shoot as many times as you can push the button, more or less, because a card will hold a couple thousand photos. So, I mean, you can really shoot as much as you actually want to, and that's something that was very rare, that was just non-existent before. And I think that when we talk about the good photos or great photos, I think that was the way Kay put it, there are a lot of different kind of levels of great photos, in my opinion. There are photos to me that are great that show me places in the world that I never would have been able to see. And and I think that there are great photographers out there that go and show us these places. Like sometimes you see a picture and it'll be taken on some island or in some country that you never even heard of, and you're like, "Wow, man, that is just like so interesting to see." And that's great in one way. But I think that there's also kind of there's some photos that are being taken by people who just don't have any idea about photography and haven't studied or anything, and those can be great in a way too, from a completely different angle or mindset than what people who might be more self-trained or trained come from. So I think we're in a golden age personally.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of the last century, Kodak released the Brownie camera that had what 100 film on it, and it's. I think we are experiencing the kind of the same thing, you know, because now
Mhm.
it's really accessible for people, With any cell phone, you can take great pictures. You don't really need a camera to do that. Like a camera per se, you know. Um, and everyone can take a great picture. It doesn't really require anything. You don't need to be great. You don't need to have a career. You don't need to read thousands of books. You can just be lucky and take a great picture. You can be in the right place in the right time and take an amazing picture of something that would never repeat itself. Um, we just need people to take pictures, and greatness will come just like that.
And
It's interesting that it's interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt you there,
no, it's okay.
Sarah. It's interesting that you bring up the brownie, and I think about that was really cutting edge technology back then, and you wonder, or at least I'm wondering right now, if there was some way that they were able to get a hold of digital imagery back then, like what that would have looked like, or if maybe that would have been too much.
It's really hard to say. I don't know.
Maybe the brownie was the perfect camera for the time, and maybe the digital cameras we have now is a perfect camera for the time. See
Well, I
what?
mean,
What
digital
wasn't
is a whole different thing. I think when you start going digital, like especially we all have a GR, so we all understand this. You can go deep into experimentation in ways that you can't with an analog. You can, like even the way you're doing the high contrast, but like you can play with it a lot more. And I think that the way you can experiment with a camera like that, like each from one shot to the next, just pushes everything. It's like if you have an ADHD mind, like, and you're experimenting a lot, you're pushing the envelope, you're moving the line of like where things were. And I mean, there's nothing but good that comes from that, I think.
And also with those with the Ricoh, the GRs, the macro lens on there is incredible. It's like if you there's like a whole world of macro. Like if you start doing macro stuff, you can like get completely lost in doing macro
Right? Like
because it
you
is
start
it is
experimenting with all sorts
nuts,
of
man. It
weird things.
sucks you
Right.
in.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it
guys,
opens up another universe.
it does. I tell you, one time I sat with my Ricoh and I spent like about an hour and a half, I shit you not, like taking a picture of this eye. Because I could just get so close in, and I had the glasses on,
Have
and I'm just
you
like,
shared that picture yet?
no,
I'd
no,
like to see it.
no. But I took so many pictures of my eye, and it was just so incredible that you could see that level of focus. And I mean, it was nailing it. It's a great camera. I mean, the Ricoh's a really amazing camera.
Yeah, for me it's the perfect camera. Just that. There's no other camera that I want. I can do whatever I want with it.
Yeah,
Just pure and simple.
I agree to a certain extent. I know you guys are Ricoh guys, but I'm like I'm caught in a love triangle with my cameras. I've got my Ricoh GR3, and then I've got my Leica Q. And like this one, I'm like, man, I'm gonna love you like Q forever. I don't even care about Ricoh, but then all of a sudden Ricoh's like, what about me? And then I'll get Rico out, and then I'm like, I love you, Rico, forever. So I'm caught. I go back and
But
forth.
you can experiment with any camera, really. But I mean, I was just speaking specifically about that one. But like with your Q, you experiment with flash on it. So like you could take the experimental element of photography in any direction with any camera, really.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like I'd be better off if I was a one camera man. I don't know
When
if I'd be
when
able
I
to do it.
when I started um, shooting like regularly, I had this guy Marcelo. Uh, you know him, I think, Todd.
I think I met him at the
Yeah,
Fandango.
and he said, just pick one camera, one lens, and one film. I was shooting film back then, and just focus on that because too many options gives you too much spread. You
I
know,
agree.
it's it,
Minimalism is our friend. It really is.
and uh, and when you find that specific system that you love, it could be any camera. It doesn't matter. But just focus on that because you will take all the juice from it. And when you feel that you have reached a limit, you will push it because there is no you only have that, and you have to do whatever you want with it. You must be able to do it. So focusing on one camera, one lens, or or whatever, it just keeps pushing the boundaries and the limits, and you become better, and you grow as an artist, as a photographer, because you start taking down those walls, and it gives you a lot of focus. You improve. There is no way you cannot improve without recycling. Just one camera, one lens, and go. Just go and take pictures.
Very sound advice right there. Thank you for that, Omar. Hey, we have a question from Sarah Lynn Bernstein. Do you plan ahead to go out and shoot, or is it spontaneous? Just get up and go on out?
Uh, uh, it's no, it's spontaneous. Uh, I just feel like the need of grabbing the camera and go, and I just do it. But sorry, since I have the possibility with the Ricoh, I carry the camera with me all the time, even if I don't plan taking pictures. So when I go to the store, when I go to work, when I go to my friend's house, I always keep the camera with me. So if there's a picture there, I will take it. So it's like I have it on me every day, every hour. But there are times that I plan going out and taking pictures. But I do it with I don't know, with friends, with other photographers. It's like a Friday at that 7 p.m. We go to Obelisco and just take a walk. That's the only case where I plan on taking pictures. The rest is just depending on how I how I wake up or how I feel that particular day.
And I think that Friday night at 7 o'clock at the Obelisco is something that everybody should experience at least once in their life because it's pretty incredible around that time. Hey, so Kay says
It's very
here, I rely on lucky all the time. But you know what they say, Kay? The harder you work, the luckier you get. And Nicholas says, a great photo doesn't truly exist. What matters is the great feeling of satisfaction when you experience when you review your photos at home and feel proud of what you captured. Absolutely, Nicholas.
yeah, I agree with that.
Omar, I wanted to ask you about your zine and how much you've been enjoying becoming a curator of other people's work too. Is that like taking your photography to like a new level now that you're kind of branching into curating too and becoming like the way that you're doing the zine?
Yeah, it's been a whole process. I was really scared at the beginning. I was I met Sage once. We Bueno, Todd no Sage. He's another photographer from Argentina, and when we met, we knew that we were going to work on something specific. And we came up with this idea of making a scene, Um, but I was really scared about it because I felt it was a lot of responsibility um, to to being a curator of such a work. When we launched the open call, I wasn't really expecting like the many people, that show up and say, "Hey, this is my work. I want you to review it." Okay, and there were thousands of them, and there were thousands of great pictures, great photography, for real. Um, Reviewing that and selecting that is really, really, really hard, and especially because, well, I didn't choose the pictures that I like, it's you have to take that from you, because we all have like favorite styles, I like certain kind of pictures, there are certain kind of pictures that I really enjoy watching and feeling. But when you are behind that, like the counter, you have to be able to appreciate every single way of photography. That process was really fun. It was really scary, but I think we made a great job, great work with that. We selected 30 people from the open call, and I'm proud of what we chose. We also invited people that we love. Oh, I'm sorry. Like you, Sarah, I invited you because I admire you. Basically, I love your work.
It was an honor. I
I
can't wait
invited.
to see it.
Well, there you have it. It's yours. Belen is going to be there soon. Um, we all get invited people that we love, and we try to merge, like, it, our inspirations, ourselves as a collective, and the people that we chose from the open call. I believe overall the product, the scene is it's a really good still photography thing. I mean, when you come back to Argentina, Todd, I'll give you one.
Is
I
one of your
appreciate that.
is
Thank you
one
very
of your
kindly.
goals? Sorry, I was going to ask. Is one of your goals for the zine to kind of show the world what kind of street photography comes out of Argentina? Argentina, because like I feel like it's overlooked in a lot of conversations about street photography around the world, and like you guys are actually killing it. And I love that you guys have put together something that's showing the world like what you've got and what you're doing. I think it's very cool.
Well, one of the goals of our collective is to put us in a map, in the map, and saying, "Hey, here we are doing this, and I hope you like it, of course." But with this particular scene, we chose people from all Latin America, from a lot of countries that maybe they don't have like a great presence, in the street photography scene. Um, and what we want to do is like to show that we are great. I mean, because we are fucking great, and we are worth being there, and the people to see us. Um, um, and also give people the opportunity to be featured on a scene, because maybe most of the people that we chose, they have never been in expositions, they have never been published in any way. They're people that really love street photography. They wake up thinking and street photography. They wake up and want to go out in the streets with the camera and shoot whatever they want. And we felt that there was no place for them, that we and so we came up with this idea, and it's been a long year. It's been difficult and it's been hard, but we finally made it, and I think it's great. I think
Congratulations.
it's a great exercise.
Yeah, congratulations on that,
Amazing.
Omar. And I want to say one thing about doing something that's printed. It's to take that leap from just having stuff digital and just having stuff on Instagram and this kind of thing to making something that's actual printed like that is an amazing thing, because if you something that you can hold in a hand is in your hands like this is so much different than something that you're looking at in a phone or on a tablet or on a computer. So well done.
Yeah, yeah. It's important to understand, and this goes for I think everyone that might be interested in hearing this, but uh, our work, it's our work, and it's important that we understand that uploading something into Instagram, although it's important for the uh, for exposition, I don't know. Uh, Instagram don't belong to us. Someday it will go, and you will have to start over again somewhere else. Um, and what's important is that you curate your own work and you start thinking about your work and printing and keeping things on paper and maybe making a book. It doesn't have to be a great book. It doesn't have to be the greatest book on earth. You have to start somewhere, and you need
Okay, hey, so hey,
to do that for your work.
Omar, we only get an hour on these, and we're almost right on this hour, and Instagram's going to cut us off. So let's leave it at there.
Okay.
But thanks a million, man.
Just
It's been
so good to
great
talk
talking
to
to
you,
you.
Omar.
All
Yeah,
right, talk to you
the
guys
same, sir.
later. Thank
Okay.
you very much. See ya.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Omar.